Welcome back to Urban 411. My name is LaVon Williams, the host, and I want to thank you all who joined us on our first episode. And I encourage you to go to YouTube, Spotify, and our Facebook page. Subscribe to us, follow us, and stay informed, stay connected to Urban 411. As you recall, the last episode, I talked about the need for us to use our voice. And I like to lead by example, so I want to share a recent incident. As of Monday, I changed my party affiliation from that of a registered Democrat to a registered independent. And I'm going to share with you why I came up with that decision. Why did I use my voice? I felt that the Democrat Party had taken me for granted, as I feel it does for most black voters. But here are 3 incidents that led me to make that choice. First, this fall, the local party chose to recognize 5 white women for their contribution in building the party. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but African Americans, Latino women, Native American, and Asian women also have helped build this party. But in spite of my protests, in spite of my emails, they did not change their decision. They went ahead with the award ceremony. That was strike 1. Strike 2, the National Party chose to change the rules of debate that allowed Bloomberg, a white rich male, to now participate in the debates even though he did not qualify. These are the same rules, though, that they refused to change that resulted in Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Deval Patrick dropping out the race because they could not participate in the debates. So it impacted their ability to move forward as people of color in the election. Well, strike 3 just happened the other day. We witnessed the 150th anniversary of the 15th Amendment, which gave black men the right to vote. However, the state party did nothing in recognition of this event. Now, you might say, well, okay, why should they? That's only because a couple of months ago, they went all out for a celebration recognizing the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave white women the right to vote. So for me, that was strike 3. And so what I chose to do was to use my voice. I had already expressed my concerns with each of these entities, that the local level, the state level, and the national level. Well, now was time for me to take my words and put them into action. So because I could not do anything to impact their decisions, I could do something to impact how I was going to accept what they had done. So I changed my registration. I went from a Democrat to an independent. And I felt like it was my second emancipation. I felt liberated. I felt free. But most of all, I felt I had used my voice in a manner to let them know that I was not going to continue to accept them ignoring us until it's time for us to vote. We are more than our vote. Our vote is very important, but we're first people. And we cannot continue to let this party, who has to gain the most when black people vote, we cannot allow them to continue to ignore us other than when it's election time. And so I felt that the acts that these levels had engaged in warranted my taking action. And I will suggest to you that you may have something else going on in your life besides voting and the political parties, but whatever it is, you cannot afford not to speak out about it. And when you speak out about it, you must follow your words with action, because otherwise it means nothing. We can get on Facebook and we can rant, we can get on Twitter, we can tweet, we can stand on platforms and speak, but until we're willing to take that next step, which is action, our words then mean nothing. So what you have to do now is be prepared to say, is it important enough for me to speak on it? And if it is, it's important enough for you to do something about it. Because all it takes is one person doing something to start a catalyst, a movement. Our history is full of people who just stood their ground and took that one action, which then allowed other people to take action. And so what I'm suggesting to you is that you stand up, use your voice, and you take action. Because there's so much going on right now that warrants our coming forward, speaking up, and then following up with action. Again, when you look at corporate America, you see that there are more and more black people are being removed from the corporate boards, even the traditional positions that we once used to occupy. So how can we use our voice and our actions there? Well, it may be time for us to start boycotting again. Not believing what people said, oh, that's outdated, or that's old-fashioned, or that's too confrontational. Sometimes you have to take that action where it will hit people the most. Hopefully the Democratic Party will understand that even losing one member is too many. But when you have other issues, by your boycotting that, by you not supporting that through your dollars, you're taking action. And they talk about speaking truth to power. People use that a whole lot. But you cannot do that when somebody's funding your message. So what you must do is have an independent voice that allow you to take the independent actions, which means that at times you may have to turn down some things, whether it's board appointments, awards, even some positions. Because it's important for you to be able to have an authentic voice that you do not have to fear retaliation. If it's strong enough, if it's valuable enough, if it's important enough for you to speak on, you should not worry about the consequences. As I shared with you last episode, I also share with you that if you're not comfortable using your voice, then don't try to silence other people. And I meant that because all too often, when you get people who are brave enough to step forward and use their voice, followed up with action, you get other people who may not be at that level who will try to silence them. They'll try to discredit them. Don't be that person. What you want to do is support those who are coming forward, speaking on matters that will impact your life and your livelihood. You know, I am involved in a lot of issues in the community, and people oftentimes bring them to my attention. And what bothers me is when they say somebody needs to do something about this. And I asked them, well, you could be that somebody. And then there's usually silence because they're so used to other people fighting their battles for them. And I would tell you now that if you're not a part of an organization that you feel comfortable is speaking for you, then you start speaking for yourself. Our next episode, we're going to talk about changing the narrative, how we can rewrite issues and conversations and comments and observations that are being made about us. So I invite you to tune in to episode 3. I thank you again for tuning in to this one, and I look forward to having a conversation with you online or through our Facebook.